Hi everyone, it's late on Saturday. I've just heard from Kat, who is the button queen, and she tells me that the Sampler Stitcher buttons are now in stock on her website, just in time for Sampler September. If you want to grab one, go and grab one now. The link will be in the drop down box. Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves UGB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 1st of September. Well, quite frankly, that's happened far quicker than I would like. It's the 1st of September and that means back to school. It seems like 5 minutes since I was saying how much I was looking forward to the summer holidays, and just like that, they've gone in a flash. But if I look back over it, we've done quite a lot of things. My house would say that I haven't been here all summer and what on earth has happened. But there are days for that at some point. I've got lots and lots to share with you today. Lots to share with you. The first thing I wanted to start with is the new sampler that I showed you last week. Now you're going to have to, as you can see right through it because I took the back off and I didn't actually ever show you the back last week. The back has got a piece of card, or had a piece of card in it, and I have absolutely no idea how they got that in there, because the frame, well, there must be another piece to the frame, but the card was in between the frame and the stitching, so there must be another sort of secondary frame hidden in there somewhere. But the reason that I took it apart, and I can't remember if I told you this, was because in the description it said it was possibly a hair sampler. I didn't really think it was, but in order to determine whether it was or not, I had to take the back off to be able to touch the threads. So let me just put this back behind there. So thank you to everybody who's given me some information as to what they think they might be, or those ladies might be to do with. I had a couple of people talk about women's riding, and certainly what I know it from is women's side saddle. I've got a couple of friends who ride side saddle in competitions, and they very often wear hats that look exactly like that with kind of like a long scarf attached to the back. So that's a possibility. The other possibility that came up was about the Ladies of Llangollen. Now, I'd heard of the Ladies of Llangollen, but I hadn't really put two and two together. So on the back here in my notes, I have actually just reminded myself a little bit about it. So forgive me for looking at the back of the sampler because that's where the notes now are. So Eleanor Butcher and Sarah Ponsonby were two Irish ladies who came to Llangollen in 1780 from Ireland because they wanted a relationship together. They didn't want to be forced into marriage. They wanted a relationship together. So they lived together in Flosstubers in Llangollen from 1780 till 1829, when Eleanor died. I can never remember which one died first. When Eleanor died. And they were very, very well known. They had lots and lots of people come to visit them. Byron, Shelley, Wordsworth all came to visit them. And there's quite a lot of poems and books and things written about them. And there's a particular sculpture, actually, which I'm going to put a picture up, which sort of reminds me of their neckties. And they obviously wore the Het Cymraeg, the Welsh hat as well, but without this kind of scarf attached. So I'll put the link up to where I found some of the information. You can still go, I believe, to Flosstubers and actually visit their house. It's kind of a Gothic style mansion. So whether it's to do with them or not, I don't know. It's not necessarily unusual in Welsh samplers to be able to spot a building that exists, but it's more uncommon. I'm not going to say it's never happened, but I can't think of an example of where actual people are depicted. And I can't think of an example where the Het Cymraeg is pictured either, the national dress. So if you can think of an example, please do let me know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So I don't know, they could just be two lovely ladies. Somebody commented that they would look nice with a martini glass in each hand. So when the pattern comes out, if you want to make that adjustment, then then you carry on. Right, what have I been doing this week? I've done quite a lot of stitching this week. Even though I've done quite a lot of schoolwork, I've also done quite a lot of stitching. Sorry, I'm looking for places on the table where I can put things without fear of a kind of general slide. So the first thing I've worked quite a bit on is Harriet. She's been a bit of a car stitching project. Ness has been a few places. She's been to the little village where her school is, because there's a play park and things there, and we don't live in that village, but there's always kids in the playground, and in the what they call the mugger, which is a multi-use something area. I can't think what the G stands for. Don't know. It's not gravel. It's just like it looks like a fenced in tennis court, but it's got tennis stuff that you can get. It's got basketball hoops anyway. So we went down there and she's been playing with whoever's in the park and in the mugger. And so I've been catching up a little bit with Harriet. So what I did was I actually just went ahead and kind of did all the outline, because then it meant it was really easy to just sit and fill her in. So I've just got left pretty much this huge expanse of dress to fill in. Apologies for the creases. I have not bothered with the iron today. Chris and Ness have gone actually to the play park and the mugger, so I'm trying to get this done before they come back. So the iron was not in the schedule today. I wanted to get this kind of done because I have sent an email to Peakside to ask them at Needlework Marketplace to get the 3 other Stacey Nash animal crackers that have been released. So I kind of need to get this one done. So all I've got left really to stitch is the little pin keep and the little design on the back, which is not very much, plus the big dress. I've loved that, really enjoyed that. It's on a piece of 36 count, should I say, Fox and Rabbit Hot Chocolate, which was a fabric of the month. For those of you waiting on the fabric of the month, I don't know if you remember, we did have a message at the beginning of the month, or with the last monthly shipment, to say that it would be delayed until they got back from America. I have had an email to say that it's in transit, and I'll post it out as soon as I can. So those are the threads which I got at the Big Stitch as part of the kit, or part of the pre-order, should I say. Thank you to everybody who has purchased Hannah Atwater. She has been selling super well, and I know that some of you will have found Hannah Atwater from Evertotes and the work that they've been doing with The British Are Coming to Evertotes on my particular episode. If you haven't seen those episodes yet, go back and have a look. They've just done one for Christina from Whilst Iris Snaps as well. So I know that a lot of you will have come via that. You'll have purchased the Leo and Roxy floss and have come to me for the chart. Just one little thing I did put on my Instagram. On page 1, there's a little rogue green stitch. I don't know how it got there, I don't know what it's doing there, but it doesn't belong there. So please just leave it out. Oh, better show you what I'm stitching. I've started it. It's on a piece of 36 count R&R Reproductions Winter Brew. So I have got the border to the bottom there, and I've put a basting line all the way across so I know that it's going to be in the right place. And then I've started the border over to here. Now you might notice I've got a little break in my border here. It's because I need to shift this entire border 1 stitch over. So all of that needs to come out and go 1 stitch over. But I kind of want to do it as I'm going, because I know horizontally it's in the right place. So I'm going to work my way across here, and then I'm just going to stitch the border down 1 stitch over, sort of frogging it as I go, so I know it's staying in the same place. But I love that border and I can't wait to stitch it during Sampler September. which is coming up really, really soon. Talking of Sample September, just while we're on the topic, I'm going to do the freebie. Now the freebie, I think I'm going to have to put up a picture of it because the chart doesn't have a cover photo, and it's by Susan Aki. I always have to sort of think on that one because when I saw her pronounce her name, she said Susan Aki rhymes with hockey, but I'm never sure I'm still getting it right. It's called the Spring Sampler, and it's a multi-page, but it's got some stitching which gives you kind of like a darned effect. So I'll see if I can find a picture of it. Now, I got this as part of a list of 30 free samplers that a FlossTuber called Lizzie has done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, instead of putting the link to this, I'm going to put the link to her FlossTube, and then you can have a look at the 29 other samplers that she recommends that you can get for free in various different places. So not just one freebie today, but 30 freebies today, courtesy of Lizzie. Right, that's completely put me off stride. I suddenly started talking about something else I wasn't going to talk about at that point. Right, what else have I been doing? I have charted the bird's wreath. Now, you absolutely loved this when I showed it to you a few weeks ago, and I've charted the birds. I am stitching from the back, as you can see there, but I will also be giving you the colours from the front. It doesn't require too much of a major change. There's only certain colours that have really changed quite a bit. I'm currently stitching this on a piece of 36 count Weeks Dye Works linen in the colour linen. And I've only just started it. I only started it yesterday. And this is where I am. Now I'm missing some of the colours, hence why the birds don't really look like anything much, but they will do. It's really not very big. It's only going to be about 6 inches across in the round. Obviously, if you choose to put the corners on, it's going to be a bit bigger than that. The corners will be charted with the sampler. It will be charted as it is. And it's up to you then if you want to stitch just the round or whether you want to stitch the corners as well. I'm in two minds. I'm going to see how it comes out in the round. Partly because I've got the one with the corners as well. But I don't know. You'll have the corners, you'll have the two versions, the colours taken from the back and the colours taken from the front. That's to come. That's in the works. I've been watching, we're really getting some sky hooks needed here. I've been watching a couple of new FlossTubers. I'm going to give a shout out to a couple of brand new FlossTubers. The first one is Cross Stitch Jess, who I know a lot of people are already familiar with because she makes fabulous bags. So there's Cross Stitch Jess and also Stuart in Stitches. Now I really enjoyed listening to Stuart. Since Amanda, our stitcher, hasn't been filming her videos, I've been missing my little dose of the Scottish twang, the Scottish dialect. And we send all our best wishes to Amanda. Hopefully she'll be back making videos soon. But it was so lovely to see Stuart and his whips, and he's apparently got this cupboard which is just filled with project bags, and he's going to show us 5 or 6 every week. I'm invested. I want to know what's in that cupboard. Come on, Stuart, I want to know. Even if it's just your Hoover, I want to see that as well. But fabulous, really great FlossTube. I loved it. Both of them, in fact. Both of them I loved. I have got 2 or 3 good, lovely pieces of Stitchy Kindness and a giveaway and a little bit of haul. In fact, I hardly had any haul until the postman came, and then it just all arrived. So first things first, I'm going to show you this. This is by Mackenzie of Mudpuppy Stitchery, and it's called Friends of Herons. Now, she sent me a lovely message saying that she'd watched a video where I talked about herons, and I do have a bit of a thing about herons. And actually somebody asked me about my jumper a couple of weeks ago. It's got herons and flamingos and all sorts of things on it. She asked me where it came from. It's a Cavu one, if anybody's interested. And she was inspired to design this chart with herons and egrets in it. Isn't it fabulous? So I will put the link down to her shop and her information in the drop down box, because she has got 2 or 3, in fact more than that, other charts which are really, really nice. Some of them you'll be familiar with. So that's from Mudpuppy Stitchery. And then lovely Ruthie from Crowsfeet Stitching. She has done 2 new releases for Halloween. Now I love Ruthie's Halloween charts. I really, really love them. The first one I'm going to put a picture of because Ruthie didn't look like you'd sent me the front cover on my email, but never matter. Here is what it looks like, and it is called, where did I write it down? Fly by Night. So that's one of them. And the second one is this one called A Single Thread. Now I'm going to be starting to stitch this pronto. Absolutely pronto. Let me tell you what it says. It says, our life hangs by a single thread, which soon is cut when we are dead. Then boast not, reader, of thy might, alive at noon, but dead at night. And she gives you this information as to where she found this. Now, she actually saw a similar thing written on a grave in Oxfordshire, but she then found where you can get sort of, it's called metrical epitaphs, ancient and modern. So things that people have written on their gravestones. Her copy was from 1868, she said, but you can get it for free on Google Books. Ruthie is an absolute mine of information. She says the phrase hanging by a thread can be traced back to the legend of King Dionysus, a Greek tyrant. Dionysus held a banquet for Damocles, who was a courtier and flatterer, where he was invited to swap places with the king. Damocles discovered during the banquet that he sat beneath a sword suspended by a single thread of horsehair. This was meant to represent that as much as the king can have power and riches, it also comes with threat and worry. So this is the reference to the sword of Damocles. Now, I am sure that I have heard this before, and it was to do with the plague. I'm sure it was to do with the plague, the bubonic plague. And there was one type of the plague, and I can't remember which one it was, but literally the onset of it was so fast that you could have been alive at noon and dead by midnight. So I'm sure that's where I've heard that quote before. I'll see if I can do some digging and find out, but there is definitely a type of plague where that is the case. Right. Stitchy kindness, more stitchy kindness, more stitchy kindness. I've got loads more stitchy kindness actually. Now, my lovely, lovely friend Christina, she has just released Mary's Drum. This is from her fabulous Mary Gypsum Sampler, and she was actually stitching this right next to me at the Big Stitch. So I've seen this in person and I know how fabulous it is. In the chart, you get lots of stitch guides. You won't be left unattended when it comes to stitching this. You get a black and white copy, you get a colour copy. Now, we had a lot of conversation actually about black and white versus colour charts. I really like a colour chart. I find it gives me an extra clue as to what I'm supposed to be doing. The number of times I've stitched using the wrong colour with a black and white chart, just because I didn't realise that was the colour I was supposed to be looking for. But you've got both, as well as a really, really clear thread chart. This comes from her fabulous sampler, which was an exclusive in the Homespun Needlework or Needlecraft group on Facebook. And you will have seen it. You will have seen it. It is the famous one with the 2 big red houses. This one comes in black and white. There is just the one copy of the chart in here because the chart is so big that 2 copies of the chart would just be a bit excessive. It is 291 by 316 stitches. It is absolutely beautiful. And as you would expect with Christina, there is a lot of information about Mary Gypsum. So I can't wait to stitch those. Thank you so much, Christina. And another bit of stitchy kindness comes from Anita at the Northumberland Sampler House. Now she has got a couple of things launching in September. Now I know what the second one is, but I'm going to keep quiet on that one because it's absolutely fabulous. But this is the first one. And she has done a range of coasters based on our favourite samplers. So there is 2 there. This one's Caroline Scott, because I've stitched that one. And in fact, I meant to bring it down, so I'm going to go and get it in a minute. This one, I'm going to have to put the name down underneath. I think I know, but I don't want to get it wrong. And then the other 2 that she sent me were Elizabeth Tassel and Jane Bennett. I'm going to go and get my version of Caroline Scott just to show you, because it was one of my favourite ones I've ever stitched. Now this is why I didn't have her to hand, because I'd actually taken her out of the frame because I was measuring up for a backboard for it. The frame actually normally has gold, what do they call them, slips in it as well. But I can't hold that and the frame together, so you can just see it without the gold slips. So this is Caroline Scott, one of my most favourite samplers I've ever stitched. And this is by Northumberland Sampler House. Beautiful. Fabulous chart, fabulous stitch, fabulous experience. I changed my little dog for a little Dalmatian, and now you can get a matching coaster. So every time I have my cup of tea, I can put it on the coaster, and even if I'm not upstairs in the spare room, I'll be able to see Caroline Scott's fabulous sampler. So thank you so much for those, Anita. As I said, I do know what the other thing is. Make sure that you're following Northumberland Sampler House on Etsy and on Instagram. Her shop will open when she comes back from holiday. She is on holiday until the 9th of September or the 10th of September. My little card said launching 10th of September, so I'm guessing she's back on the 9th and everything's launching on the 10th. You don't want to miss out. I tell you, you don't want to miss out. Right, let me show you what else I got in the post, because it's pretty fabulous. Now, first things first, I ordered some thread from Etsy. And I think it's from America. Ooh, sound like a B-52 bomber. I think it's from America. I very, very rarely order thread from America, from Etsy, because usually the cost of the postage racks it up and it's too much. But I particularly wanted this one. And these are by Pirate and Robin. That's their little logo. And you get 10 yards. You get 10 yards of the thread. So I'll tell you, all of the threads that I bought and the postage make each thread £4.50. So it's not a cheap way to buy thread in the UK, but with the 10-yard skeins, I thought it was worth it, because I've been looking for something like Bog Witch for a really long time. A kind of black that throws up a lot of really dark green. Let me see if I've got something that I can just put that's white so you can really see. Ah, there we go. I use the back of my planner. So hopefully you can see that. I don't know if it's made it better or worse. Somebody posted about these on Instagram, I think, that they had just received them. And I just couldn't resist. That's what I've been looking for a really long time. And I'm pretty sure it's what I'm going to stitch Ruthie's new chart in. The one about dying before night. So I've got that. And then I also got 2 of these. This is called Black Dahlia, or Dahlia, which I just thought was fabulous. And then I got 3 of these, which are dark copper. Which has got some beautiful, beautiful colours in it. Greens, blues, coppers. Amazing. So, I've got a feeling they were a mist dye actually, because they've got a little black dot on them. But you wouldn't know. They're amazing. They're actually, particularly these, some of the nicest threads that I've had. Love those. Can't wait to stitch with those. I'll let you know. I bought some more of these. These are the Org Bunny project bags that I like. Didn't come with that little tag on it, ignore that. So they're just plain see-through acetate or polystyrene. I can't get my words today. It's wood. It's a wooden project bag. No, PVC. There we go. So I've got some more of those. They come in a pack of 6 for about 15 quid. And they also do these little bags. So it's just a little white kind of calico bag, really nicely made. Just a little pouch. And what I wanted to try and do was to finish off some of my stitching that I've got. Because what I think I can do is mount a couple of my pieces to the outside of these little bags. So let me just try and fold up Needle and Flax. There we go. By Teresa Kogut. There we go. I think that would look really good stitched onto there. They've done all the hard work for me with the pouch, and all I need to do is to get that nice and straight, get rid of all this acres and acres of extra fabric, see, and then mount it onto there. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to show you. I think it will work. I think it will work. They also do slightly bigger bags. And I picked up one of those as well because my idea, again, is to do something similar. To mount it, some needlework onto the bag. Now you can probably see a bit better with the Modern Folk embroidery pattern from last year's advent calendar. It fits nicely and it would make a nice little bag to take to stitchy retreats and things like that. You might want to set a calendar and see how long it actually takes me to do it, but that's the plan. And if you haven't got a plan, what have you got? Right, I think that's it from me today. I've waffled my way through this. I'm gonna have to see if I can stitch it together in some kind of order. But I've loved chatting with you again today. I've got loads and loads to share over the next few weeks. Sampler September, I can't wait. See you next week. Stay classy, stitchers.